All right, assalamu alaikum warahmatullah barakatuh. Here I go again, fighting my sleep once again. So if you see the bags under my eyes, it's because I've been going at it all day. I'm not a blogger, so I'm gonna try my best with this video. If I look away from the camera again, because this ain't my thing. But I'm doing it because I believe it's a necessity. I really do. I believe it's a necessity to cover these important issues, these important topics with regard to assessing whether or not being a full-time artist is for you. Okay. And that's a very important question. This is probably going to be the most important conversation you're going to have in your art career. Is at the onset, is at the point in which you're choosing a path. It's not a career path. It is literally a lifestyle path. And because that's really what it is. It's not just a job. It's not something you clock out of. Okay, you could try your best to organize your day and say, okay, I'm clocking out at this time and I'm done. But as an artist, this is your life. This is really, you know, as someone told me one time, they said, art is not what you do, it's who you are. Okay. And this is a reality. So again, this is going to be the most important part, the most important time in your art career is right now, is when you're taking the time to really think deep as to, you know, your path and what path you're going to choose. Okay. My objective with making this video, it's not to discourage you, but at the same time, it's not to encourage you. It is literally to just be as real with you as possible with regard to being a full-time artist from my perspective, from my 30 years of experience. Okay. In those 30 years, okay, of experience, what can I share with someone who's looking to embark upon this path? Okay. Obviously I'm doing it because I absolutely love it. I really do. But it's not for everybody. That I could tell you for sure. This, you know, being a full-time artist is definitely not for everybody. For some people, being a part-time artist works. You know, having a full-time job, doing art on the side, making money with art on the side, or maybe just doing art as a hobby, you know, that may work better for some people. But being a full-time artist, that's a completely different animal, you know, and you have to be ready for that. There's a lot that comes with it. Okay. It's a lot that comes with it mentally, emotionally, physically. Okay. It is definitely a physically demanding job for the type of full-time artist that I am. Okay. Which brings us to the issue of what is a full-time artist? There are different types of full-time artists. What type of full-time artist are you looking to be? Again, I'm giving you a perspective from the type of full-time artist that I am. Okay. I'm not a full-time large-scale mural artist, okay, who travels around the world painting murals. That's not what I do. That's not what I want to do. I like painting mid-scale murals. Basically, you know, I do custom airbrushing. I do custom art, signage, things of that nature. So the majority of my artwork caters to small mom-and-pop shops. Okay, daycares, gyms, restaurants, you name it, anything within that size scale. So I'm not going above heights of more than maybe 15, 16 feet. My typical height is usually around 8 to 12 feet that I'm working on, which means that I'm not using scissor lifts. The majority of my work is being done with ladders, okay? And that's, you talking about a workout, that's a workout. You're going up and down that ladder multiple times a day, okay? So, you know, you're gonna be tired. You're gonna be tired, and it's definitely strenuous work. Keeps you young, keeps you healthy. That's for sure. There's no doubt about that. It will. But again, this is it's a labor of passion for me. I love it. I love the challenge of it. I love everything about it. You know, the fact that you have to invent most of your tools. You have to invent a lot of things, techniques. You have to deal with different, you know, situations. So I love the challenge of it, you know. I love the freedom of it. I love being able to, you know, make my own hours. If I don't like a job, I'm not doing it. I mean, period. I choose to be a full-time artist because, you know, I like to be able to speak my mind. I have a lot of very deep personal art that I speak to a lot of societal issues. I speak to a lot of spiritual issues. I speak to a lot of issues like that. And being a full-time artist, you know, I don't have to worry about what anybody says. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. What you going to do, fire me? You know, like, I'm going to continue saying what I'm going to say, and I'm going to paint what I'm going to paint, and like it, love it, hate it, whatever. I'm going to keep doing it. So these are one of the things that I love about being a full-time artist, is that you have a lot more freedom with regard to, you know, having a voice, with regard to your art, and a lot more other things. You have a lot more freedom with regard to mobility and things of that nature. Again, you choose your schedule. So I mean, that's the beautiful thing about it. But at the same time, you know, you're always in, you know, work mode. Again, you know, like I said, you don't really clock out. You know, you can have a set schedule, and you definitely want to do that. You know, you definitely want to balance your time properly, because I've seen many artists, especially when they get up in age, that, you know, their personal lives are in ruin. And I knew early on that I didn't want that for myself. That's not what I wanted for myself. I wanted, you know, I wanted to have a family. I wanted to, you know, have a basic life, a general, you know, what I define as success. And that's very important as an artist, to be able to define what success is, okay? Everybody's definition of success is not going to be the same. It is not the same. So it's very important, and I would suggest this strongly, that you come to a conclusion, you come to an understanding as to what do you define as success. Okay, how would you define a successful life, and where do you want to be, you know, at a certain age in life, and what is it that you would like to have accomplished? Okay, that's very important in assessing whether or not this art life is going to be for you as a full-time artist. You have to assess whether or not you're going to be able to accomplish certain goals, certain standards, certain standards of life as an artist. You know, you got to keep in mind a lot of artists are poor. You know, and that's the reality of it. We're not rich in the sense of money-wise, for the most part. I mean, we are one field where we're connected with the saying, you know, starving artists. You know, thank God I'm a full-time artist and I'm not starving. But let me tell you, it takes a lot of discipline. Okay, not to fall into that starving category. Okay, that means that you're going to have to be very organized. Okay, with your thoughts, with your time. Okay, with your finances, everything. You know, everything's got to be organized, because organization, I truly believe, is the key to success. So you're gonna have to be able to be disciplined enough to be organized, especially in these areas, especially with regard to time. Because when it comes to time, this art life could really eat up your time, big time. I mean, it could go into your personal life, and it had gotten to a point where my art was consuming so much of my life that I literally wrote art life on my boots, just trying to embrace, the difficulties of it. And I twisted around and tried to make it, a positive thing, But at the same time, this is your art life, but you don't want it to consume your entire life. You want to have different aspects of your life. You want to be balanced with regard to, your art and other aspects of your life. You don't want art to consume every part of your life. You know what I mean? I don't. I'm going to speak for me. I'm not going to speak for you again. How you define success is on you. But for me, I didn't want that. I didn't want art to consume every aspect of my life, because I've seen it happen way too many times, where many artists' personal lives were just in shambles. They were struggling in and out of multiple relationships, not in any relationship. I mean, just battling with all types of demons and stuff like that. And, and from my personal observation, again, everybody has their own perspective. They have their own circle that they're surrounded by. So I'm not speaking for anybody else. But from my personal perspective, I saw that a lot of artists that, I was privy to seeing, I saw that a lot of the issues stemmed from lack of organization. Okay. I'm a very God-conscious, very God-fearing person. So, number one, I'd like to organize all my mind and time and everything around my creator first. And then after that, organizing, my time with regard to worldly affairs. Okay. And I'm a strong believer in that. Organize mind and time around the divine, and everything will fall in line. That's my saying. I say it every day almost, religiously. Organize mind and time around the divine, everything will fall in line. But the key word here is organization. So that's one thing I would definitely strongly stress is organizing. Organizing your time, making sure you have a structured day. If this is, again, what you would like to be doing full time, and if we share same goals, as far as, having, family, having a personal life, having, a nice and, enjoyable perspective on life, inner peace, things of that nature. A lot of that, definitely comes down to, again, organizing, aside from, the religious perspective, it comes down to organization of finances, organization of time. And that'll definitely help you out a whole lot. As far as, the hardships that come along with the artwork and this art life, they're going to be there. It happens. You're going to experience some really, really hard times, possibly. I hope you don't, but odds are you may experience them. But it's not a bad thing. You can't look at it as a bad thing. You have to understand that there's a huge benefit in struggling. There's a lot of benefit in starving. For example, a cheetah, you would never, ever, ever know the speed of a cheetah if he was fed all day and was fat and lazy. Okay, you would not know the cheetah's ability until it gets hungry. When that cheetah gets hungry and those ribs are touching, it brings something out of that cheetah. It brings that full potential. It brings that speed out of that cheetah. And we're no different. We're no different. Okay. Sometimes it takes for us to struggle. Sometimes it takes for us to starve. Okay. It takes for us to get frustrated. It takes for us to, want to throw in the towel. to be able to bring that full potential out of us. So we have to remember that, and we have to keep that in mind, so that we see the light at the end of the tunnel. We see that silver lining around that gray cloud, because trust me, there is a silver lining around every gray cloud if we're patient through it. Okay, if we're patient through the hard times and we push through, you're going to reap the benefits from it. Okay. But I don't want to sit here and tell you that it's, a walk in the park. Being a full-time artist is just, it's just the greatest thing in the world with no problems at all, And far from it. You're going to experience some tough times. But for me, the good times far, far, far outweigh the bad times. Oh my goodness. I mean, just something so simple as, painting a mural, going on my lunch break, sitting in a park, in the summer, looking up at the sky, clothes full of paint, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is awesome. I do this full time. This is my full-time job. I'm not working for a company. I work for myself. I dictate whether or not I want to take a job or not. Okay. And that's the other thing that I love about this art life is, the fact that I can choose what jobs I want to take and what jobs I don't want to take. And for religious reasons, I mean, there's a lot of jobs, I turn down. I won't do liquor stores. I won't do smoke shops. There's a lot of things I won't. I don't even draw faces, and try being a full-time custom artist, not drawing faces. Now, that's a challenge, And I always said that's a living miracle right there. And I said, it's true what they say. If you give something up for the sake of Allah will replace it with something better. And when I gave up faces, let me tell you, it was tough. It was tough at first. I had to start driving taxis. But shortly after that, I'm telling you, I told the taxi company that I was driving for, I was like, I can't do this no more. Driving taxis is not for me. And they said, okay, so what you going to do? I said, I'm an artist. Well, I was an artist before this, and I got to figure out something. And they said, okay, we understand you're going to quit, but can you paint our sign out front for us? I said, yeah, of course. I can do it, no problem. So I painted their sign. And after that, let me tell you, their neighbor saw it. They was like, hey, when you're done there, can you paint my sign? And when I was done with his neighbor saw it. He said, when you're done there, can you paint my? And it's been like that ever since. And this was 2023. 2013, and it's 2025. So I stopped drawing faces in 2012. And in 2013 is when I moved to Jersey City. And that's when I started driving taxis, and that's when all that stuff happened. And here it is, 2025, still rocking, But again, that's one of the things that I love about the airbrush. I mean, not just the airbrush, but just being a full-time artist in general, is that I could say I'm not going to draw faces, and I could just move on to something else. Now, the thing is that in order to do this full-time and to be able to have that freedom to choose what jobs I want, I had to be able to amass enough work to be able to be selective. And the only way to amass enough work is to increase my skill set. I had to really increase my skill set. So that was my mission. I just went on a mission to, look, you don't know this yet, you got to learn it. Lettering, you got to learn lettering. You got to learn this, you got to learn that. You just become like a sponge and just eat up all this information, on different techniques and there's going to be things out there that they're not going to show you how to do it. You're going to have to learn. And I've learned a lot of things just, on my own, on increasing efficiency and, creativity with regard to certain techniques and stuff like that. And again, that was all so that I could have the ability to be selective with my work. Okay. So as a full-time artist, I definitely I'm going to definitely recommend that you increase your skill set at every chance possible. So, and that's the whole purpose of me putting this tutorial together, so that you can increase your skill set as quickly as possible. And you're going to take it at your own pace. And this whole tutorial that I have going on is built like that. It's built for you you're going to take it at your own pace. If you want to do it quickly, it'll be there. It's ready for you to go. If you want to drag your feet, sometimes people move better when they move slower. Okay, you just come back to it. But the objective for me with these tutorials is to actually just have it there for you. And when you're ready, you're ready. Okay, but I can't stress enough that you have to be very clear as to what type of full-time artist you want to be. Okay, again, I'm just giving you a perspective from. I'm giving you a perspective from the type of full-time artist that I am, okay, which is a custom commercial full-time artist. Obviously, on the side, I do my own art, my graffiti, that's my heart and soul, so I do that on the side. But as far as my bread and butter and how I make a living, then yeah, I do that with the custom work. And so I strongly suggest, and I actually strongly suggest that you really think long and hard as to what type of full-time artist you want to be. If you're interested in doing the art that I do, which is mainly, like I said, cafes, restaurants, daycares, gymnasiums, tire shops, lettering for auto body shops, things of that nature. If you're interested in doing that, then yeah, I could definitely give you some pointers on that. And help you out along the way. And again, I like that. I like those type of jobs because, one, it's consistent work. These type of businesses always need work. Two, they're very, very grateful. I mean, it's to me, I don't know what's the bigger payoff. Of course, the money's great. You want to pay your bills, but another payoff is that, when you're actually helping a business, bring their dreams to life, it's amazing, especially when it's a family-based business. And, I can't, that's such an awesome feeling, So, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I choose this as opposed to different avenues. I'm not a gallery guy. I'm definitely not a gallery artist. Couldn't advise you on that at all. Matter of fact, you could advise me if you know if you know anything. But I don't think that's really for me. But again, yeah. So I want to make sure that I'm covering all these topics. Skill set, stages. Oh, stages. You want to go in stages. You don't want to. You want to make sure you're ready. Before you jump out the plane. You don't want to jump out the plane without a parachute. The parachute in this situation would be that you have everything in place. Okay, you have your skill set in place. Okay, you're very comfortable with the airbrush. You're very comfortable doing freehand lettering, because not all the time you're going to have a projector. Not all the time you could use transfer applications. So you have to, you have to be ready. Okay, you have to have all your equipment. You have to have your vehicle. You have to have your vehicle set up and ready to go. Okay, before I even advise you doing this full time. Okay, because if not, it's gonna stress you out. You're not gonna maximize your profit. Simply because you haven't maximized your time efficiency with regard to your application and rendering of art. Okay, in this business, time literally is money. So the faster you move, the faster you get, projects done, the happier the customer is, because they don't have to sit around for long periods of downtime, and the more money you're gonna make, at the end of the day. So again, yeah, you want to do this in stages. Maybe if you have a full-time job, maybe you start, building it up, on the side, doing it on the side. Now, the problem is, I'm going to tell you, when it comes to having a full-time job, it's a catch-22 because it's going to eat into your time with regard to building your own thing. So you're going to have to figure that one out, you know. But would I advise you doing this full time and you're not, you know, all the way ready to go? Absolutely not. You're going to be stressed out. You're going to be stressed out, and you're going to force yourself into jobs that you really don't want to do. You're going to, you know, make the sacrifice, get a job if you have to, okay? Secure yourself so you don't have to be so stressed out, okay? And you want to be able to learn. It's hard to learn when you're stressed out. You know, you can't really focus if you're focusing on bills, okay? So you want to alleviate that. You're just not going to get no sleep. I mean, that's just what it's going to be. You're going to have to, you know, work a full-time job and, you know, increase your skill set on the side, and then, but at least you'll have a goal. You have an objective. You know, you have an end goal. And once you're ready to go, once you have all those things in place, mainly your skill set, mainly your vehicles. I mean, your vehicle and all your equipment that has to be set up. Okay, once that's all in place, then it's go time. It's go time. And once it's go time, then ain't no turning back. Ain't no turning back. You can't. It's going to require some sacrifice in the sense that when you start working for yourself and when you start doing this full time, you're not allowed to get a job. You got to do it. You have to eat off of your art. Done. You have to make it happen. Okay? And that's what's going to force you to be better. That's what's going to force you to, you know, make it happen, you know. It's a little difficult if you have some responsibilities, you know, especially if you have children or whatever, you know, that are depending on you. But at the same time, that's one heck of a motivating factor. It will get you up on them ladders. It will get you, you know, figuring out how to lay this sign out properly in a quick amount of time because you got another customer you have to get to. Okay, so definitely a beautiful thing. I don't know what to tell you. It's going to be challenging at times, but I'm telling you, this is a lifestyle that I love it. I love it. There's not, you know, I had lots of opportunities to do lots of other things, but I didn't. You know, I always stayed with this. I always came back home. This is home for me. This is what I know. You know. So much so that I always say I got two types of clothes. I have dress up clothes and I have work clothes. I said my dress up clothes have just a little less paint than my work clothes. All right, but as an artist, you'll see that all your clothes have paint on it. You know, so it's, even if it's a little spot or speck or something, you know, again, that's part of the whole art life thing going on here. I think I covered everything. Like I said, I don't want you to be misinformed. You know, I want you to really know what you're heading into. I want you to know what you're embarking upon. And I want you to be very, very successful. And I know you could be very, very successful. You just got to do it in the right order. You have to do it with the right understanding. And you have to know what you're getting yourself into. And once you know all of that, you know, like I said, my favorite saying is knowledge precedes statement and action. You know, if you're moving upon knowledge, all right, you're going to have some very, very, very positive actions and very positive outcomes. Okay? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.